everybody, Pat Huntoon here with Technique Junkies, and today we're going to be making the sweet retro Christmas card you saw at the beginning of the tutorial. It's so easy to do. Let me show you how. So we are starting with the SDX 200 little holly stamp. It's a tiny little holly. It's perfect. It's a perfect little holly. I love that holly. And we're starting with the Catherine Pooler Premium Dye Ink in Deck the Halls colors. So when you use Catherine Pooler inks, they are beautifully juicy. And I'm not using a stamp positioner for this. I'm just using a little ink block, little acrylic block. So you just want to kiss the stamp to it. You want to get ink on the stamp, but not smush it in there. You don't need to do that, okay? So you just want to kiss it. So I am just going to be, look at how pretty that stamps, putting these randomly and turning the stamp. I'm inking between stampings, and I'm turning the stamp every time I ink it, just a little bit, and I'm randomly putting these on my cardstock. I'm going off the edge, turn my cardstock a little bit, and I will tell you how many I have on here total. I don't think any two I've made have been exactly alike, so I guess it doesn't really matter. What you don't want is an edge like that, so you want to cover that up. Okay, so I have my cardstock covered. And what I'm going to do now is just take a water brush and literally, I just want to get it wet. I don't want this to be juicy, juicy, juicy. I just want to pick up a little tiny bit of water. I'm not using watercolor paper, so I don't want to use a lot. And I want to just move that ink just a little bit, just to push that color throughout the leaves. Now, you can skip this step. If you like the look of the leaves just being covered, and I'll show you one that I did that way at the end of the tutorial, you feel free to do that. It's more than okay. So I'll speed up here. So now all my holly are covered. Okay, so I just want to mention, if you don't have a water brush, you can just use a paintbrush and a little bit of water. Again, you don't want to use much water because it is not watercolor paper that I used here. So that is all colored. Now I'm going to color the inside, the berry. So I'm going to be using this red Jelly Roll pen. Okay, so now those are all covered. Let me show you this up close. Now, because I did watercolor those using the ink that we stamped in, you'll notice that they're very soft. There's not very crisp lines. And I kind of, in a way, really like the way that looks on this particular card because it adds to the retro feel of the card. So the next thing we're going to be doing is adding the SDX 174 Retro Merry Christmas. We're going to be stamping that in Cranberry Fizz. Let me stamp it and come right back. Okay, so I've stamped that with the Cranberry Fizz, and now I want to put a background on here. And of course, I don't have this exact color of Cranberry Fizz, so I'm going to create my own background using the Cranberry Fizz and literally just running it along this cardstock to create my own paper. So now I have a perfectly colored, add a little more around the edges there. Remember, only the edges are going to show. I probably could have just gone around the edges. Didn't have to use up all that ink. But now I have a perfectly colored piece of background paper that I can put my project on. Just wipe up quick. Look when that's together. Isn't that perfect? And I've also done a smaller piece of paper so I can take my Merry Christmas and mount it on that. Let me mount these all together. And mount it onto a regular white piece of paper. And look at that. Is that not the cutest retro card you've ever seen. And it only took me a couple of minutes to do that. And again, if you don't want to watercolor these in, just make them solid. There is a sample of that at the end of the tutorial. So if you like this tutorial, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube and consider subscribing to the Technique Junkies YouTube channel. That's it today. Just a quick little retro Christmas card for you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.